Hey Clashers, dragon type attacks can be incredibly strong right now, and especially with the new frozen arrow equipment, those type of attacks were pushed to a whole new level. And for understanding all of this a bit better, I think we should watch a couple of attacks and learn from some of the attacks of Yuyan, who is showcasing perfectly the synergy between the different heroes and the different equipments. Because in the Barbarian King, he is using the Gauntlet, the epic equipment for the Barbarian King, which is just so strong. But on top of that, he's using the Earthquake Boots, which are going to be a huge game changer, as you can tell in those attacks. The next thing is the Healer Puppet and the Frozen Arrow for the Queen, who, that is having an incredible synergy, and especially on the back end of a village, this can be a huge game changer. For the Warden, he is using the Life Gem, which is interesting, but as well the Invincibility, like the Eternal Tome. Both of those work great together, but you can as well use the Healing Tome if you prefer that, if you have leveled that up higher. But for those attacks, we're not really concentrating on the Electrodragon power, even though that is satisfying to watch with those Electrodragon chains. We're watching more about the King and the Queen. And take a look at that. Typically, you have to use the Yak if you want to get through walls. Especially right now in the meta where a lot of times there is closed compartments. This can get kinda tricky otherwise to get in there. But with this setup now, you can tell there's a lot of damage on the Queen, but using the Queen ability, now the Rage, the Queen is staying alive and actually taking down the Town Hall, slowing it down so the Electrodragons are staying alive with more hit points. And take a look at that. Taking down the Warden, taking down the Inferno Tower because of the Frost effect, and even damaging already that defending King. At this point, there's not much of this village left. But remember, if you would have used another equipment like the Invisibility Vial or something else, this could have been a huge different story, because the back Inferno Tower would be probably still alive. Now those healers are flying across, the Black Ones are getting triggered, and even the Tornado Trap already is triggered just because of that. Another pro tip I can give you for sure is just use the correct siege machine. Something which we like to do a lot is to use the Battle Drill. This siege machine works incredibly well on the back end to make your heroes even more powerful. A lot of times in those attacks, it's not about the Electrodragons, Super Dragons, or whatever you're playing, it's more about the heroes and to support them. And this siege does exactly that really well. Even though the attack in the end is going to be somewhat close with the Barbarian King luckily going down, because it had so little hit points because of the defending of the attacking Queen with the Frozen Arrow. So you can tell already this combination is insanely strong, and you have your little own Queen charge on the back end. But I don't want to really fool anyone, it is not easy to execute, and that's I think why we should take a look at another attack. Because with having no Invisibility Vial, you always risk your Queen going down through her ability. Because there is literally no ability, except, well, spawning the healers. But other than that, there is no protection. So you have to be really careful, and you have the tools to protect her. You have a lot of phrases, you can use the Skeleton spell to distract defenses if you want to. There's a lot of different tools to do so. And especially on this attack, again, it's showcasing why, as well for the King, the Earthquake Boots are so incredibly important to get into the base. This Eagle Artillery would have been out of range for this King and for the Queen. But with now the Earthquake Boots, this Barbarian King can easily enter in that compartment, and the Queen can funnel perfectly for all of those Electrodragons. The Electrodragons at the top side, meanwhile, are just chaining away the village. But again, take a look at this bottom side. The Queen is slowing down this defending King. So with this equipment setup, you're saving so many important things which you could otherwise really nicely use. The King, for example, with the pet, you would need to use the Yak, otherwise you could not get through all of those compartments. And the Frosty, I think we can all agree on that, it's just a way better pet, which can be used then instead on the Barbarian King. You're saving wall breaks, because, well, the other option to get into a base are wall breaks, so you're saving those housing space, and that is as well a really nice thing to have. For this one as well, you're saving the Headhunters, because that defending King would have been really annoying and would have meant to use that Queen ability with the bonus damage of the Invisibility Vial, but because of the Frozen Arrow, you don't really need that. So overall, you're saving a ton of different spells, and this strategy is getting just so much better throughout with every single hero equipment. But let's move on to the next attack. Because this attack perfectly showcases how nice those healers on the back end can be. But there is one important thing you have to know about this approach, and that is making sure that you deploy your heroes as far away from the clan castle as possible. Because with those air attacks, one of those really big advantages over other attacks is just that you can take advantage of the current meta. In the current meta, people are using most of the time either ice golems or the lava hound, for example, in the defending clan castle. Mainly ice golems, but it's the same story. Air troops are not going to lure out that clan castle, and that is the big game changer. With not luring out that clan castle, you can take all of those, like the defenses, the clan castle itself, the building out without any clan castle troops ever leaving that building. And that is obviously a nice thing, because the clan castle itself, with all of the defensive troops inside, is such a strong defensive tool, and you're just straight up ignoring that because you're attacking with air. So you do not want to make sure that your ground heroes are getting close to this building, because otherwise those troops would leave that building and would actually, well, kind of be annoying. Instead now we have this attack getting into the back end. We have the frost for the back end for the single inferno tower, but at this point the electro dragons slowly are dying out. And this is what, again, he's sending the siege machine in together with the heroes. And take a look at this back end, because yes, there's still the royal champion left to deploy. The question is, does he even need the royal champion because of the power on the back end? Well, he's spawning those healers. The siege drill together with the barbarian king, which is now getting kept alive with those healers, clears out the back end defenses. The siege drill is opening up through the next wall, so the king can actually leave that compartment again. The queen just doing her job, getting all of those defenses out. And now we have the healers staying on the barbarian king, tanking everything. And take a look at that. This defending scatter is going down again because of the slowdown of the Frosty. If he would have had another pet like the Yak to get through walls, this slowdown would have not been possible, so he can actually just swag the entire Royal Champion versus this base. So the back-end healers are huge game changers. They can be used as like test loons in some way, where you can trigger a lot of traps as in one of the first attacks, but as well as on this one, you're having a lot of power with just your heroes turning into huge unkillable demons because they just cannot go down. And so far you have seen him use most of the time the siege drill. But obviously when the town is at the core, you can use the blimp really nicely as well with your electro dragon part, because there's two really big things in your favor doing that. First off, triggering black mines, like traps in general, which is really nice because the blimp is getting turned invincible from the Warden Eternal Tome. And, well, all of those flags are getting triggered. As well, another thing is that the Town Hall is obviously getting taken care of, hopefully, if there is no tornado trap. But this would mean that the Town Hall Poison is no big deal anymore for you. But let's again concentrate on the heroes, because this is yet again another crazy showcase of why this equipment combination is just so good. The king is locking onto your queen. This is the worst thing possible for you to happen, which in most of the other cases would be a huge problem. But in this one, he's just using the queen ability, spawning those healers, and the queen is getting healed back up to full HP within seconds. She can now join up with the Barbarian King, which already, again, like he has already, again, opened up all of those walls with the Earthquake Boots. Now the queen can just enter into the base, clear out the defenses. Now take a look at that. There is a lot of back-end defenses. Well, since he has another rage left and freezes, he can turn all of this into a queen charge on the back end. Because remember, typically you have 5 healers plus the unicorn. If you're adding more and more healers on your queen, each healer is getting less effective. So having with 3 healers and the unicorn, you're kind of in a sweet spot where a lot of times, if you're not doing any of those heavy charges, you're going to have enough healing easily to get through a really less concentrated base, or like power of the base when it comes down to damage. And that's exactly what he does. Take a look at this. The back end, again, is having some expos there and stuff, and because you would have needed to use the ability early, remember, the Barbarian King was on your queen, so the invisibility vial, for example, you would have had no ability left anymore at this point. Well, the thing is that this queen would have been dead 100 years ago. But because of the healers, because of the unicorn, because of the as well defensive power of the frost arrow, she is easily staying alive and clearing out the defenses, clearing out the base, and it's yet again another 3-star. So I hope I was able to kind of showcase you a little bit better why this equipment combination is just so good for those different heroes. And as well, you can tell you don't really have to actually you don't really need everything maxed out. He was able to use them with higher, with lower level, especially the Earthquake boots. They're already working on level 1. The base stats are obviously not that great, but you can use them early on if you want to. Otherwise, overall, really nicely done by him. Huge thank you to you for sharing those attacks. I hope you learned something new about air attacks in general and how to take advantage of those new equipments in the best possible way. And I wish you guys back tomorrow with the next class video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.